we're going to look at Nvidia here on the daily. And one thing that we noticed here is every time you get indecision with a longer wick than the upper, it looks like you're getting a bigger pullback the very next trading session. So right here, back on 325, you had the indecision doji with a long lower wick, and then you had that big day high low of $6 in here. If you go to this doji here, you had a high upper wick, then you had to basically kind of suck the volatility out green day the following trading session. If you go here, you had a red doji, although the lower wick was longer, and you still had a pretty big red day here, about a $5 drop. Here, if you go all the way back in February of 20, you had that indecision in here with that long lower wick. The very next day, you had right around a high low of $7 expected move in here. So it looks like that all these candles with those long lower wicks that were green or just dojis, the indecision, it looks like the very next day we were dropping in here. So we're going to see what happens. We did have that high upper wick in here on Thursday's trading session. Then a red day came the very next day, obviously pull back within the whole market, about a trillion taking back out of the market again as we kind of are creeping down lower and lower overall. But still, we only had about a $3 down day in here from your high lows in Nvidia. So that is interesting. So we need to keep an eye on that on as we're watching the daily chart in here. So high upper wick, you might get a down day, but it's not going to be as bad as when you get a lower or a bigger lower wick on your dojis where you're getting that huge day. So indecision, 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 indecision here, followed by drop, 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 drop. So that is something we have to keep in mind as we're looking at Nvidia in here. So with that being said, our IV in here is getting sucked out just a little bit because we didn't have a big drop in here as we thought on Friday with everybody pulling back in the market, right? You thought volatility was going to get expanded in here a lot. It really didn't because you only had that $3 move in here. But where we at on the weekly chart, we're kind of in no man's land here. We're kind of looking at the 102s and this 115 area as a place for us to kind of trade in the next few weeks or so. If we are going to be below this 103, we're going to be looking down here right around that $98 to $100 channel. And that's going to keep us in line with our lower trend line here. Resistance wise, the 115 we mentioned, and above that, it's going to be that 9-day EMA. That's currently at 122. We have to fight that before we start heading forward. But it looks like you're getting kind of a little bit of a squeeze here. Your 9-day EMA is coming back to the 200, and we see we're kind of slowly going back down here. We're probably going to hit this trend line here, pop a little bit, trend line, and we're kind of respect this trend line, I think, on the way down just to get these 200 and this 9-day EMA closer, because you see how far away we were back in here back in August, October, November, December. We're slowly reverting back to the mean and creeping down sooner, or creeping down closer and closer, that is. So the $100 level could be on the table in here sometime soon. If not, and we're looking at that 98 level as a good support for us. The RSI on here is relatively low compared to itself, although it's been that way for about a month or so. And we do got some decent volume kicking in here on the weekly. So that is something to look at. But really 103 and 115, that's kind of the big areas we're going to be looking at in here. Above that, the 9-day EMA, and then below that 103, it is going to be that 98 level. And then keep in mind on your dailies, remember those dojis with the long lower wicks. Next day, that's the pattern that's going. Next day, big red drop in there. So keep that in mind. IV ranking here is at 25. We mentioned volatility got sucked out right around a $5 expected move by this Friday. Following Friday, $8. We go all the way out to your April monthlies. Right around a $10 expected move is what everybody is pricing in. So really by June out here, you is what everybody's pricing around a $20 expected move. So really the $80 level down here is on the table, and then the 120s up in here is what everybody's pricing in. So you have like this wide kind of area down in here. So it looks like everybody's pricing in for us to kind of continue on this lower trend line, and then this is going to be the mean for us in here going forward. But things could change, obviously, within the news and things like that, China. So keep in mind that is what we're looking at here. That's what the chart's telling us, but everything could change. It's all fluid. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you're interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.